If you've never grown anything before, this video is for you. This is meant to be fun and beautify your yard. So we are going to do a front yard flower bed and a new flower bed around a lamp post. So join us today while we beautify the yard. She already started out with some pansies. She also planted some bleeding heart plants. There's 3 in each of the beds and they have not come up yet. We will put what we used in the description. Here is some of them. And I'll also describe it as we go through the video and why we chose that. So we're going to mix up some fertilizer. That way when we're transferring the plants from the pots, we'll add a little bit of fertilizer in there. There is some general fertilizer throughout that was put on there previously. You do want to start out with a weed-free space, and then we are going to break up the soil. You want to do this so that the plant's roots have good soil that is loose and it can make its way through and start to thrive and really put out roots to grow. So we're going to break it all up. And then after, we're gonna just rake across it, smooth it out, get out any of the lumps, but really level the whole area. So we decided to go with this pincushion plant and put that on the edge of both sides of the bleeding heart plants. So you wanna dig a hole that's going to fit the plant and then take it out of the pot. You want to really break up this root ball. It will encourage new root growth and make it a healthier plant. If you do just bury it without breaking that up, it will just keep itself bound in that position and it won't fully grow. So when those come up, they'll be in the middle, and then on the outer edges we'll have the pincushion plants. We just thought it really had a cute, fun flower and would come back every year and fun to enjoy. Now we're going to plant some sunflowers in the back here. They're going to be orange, and we just thought it was a fun height. We'll kind of cover up those window wells and some of the concrete in the house and just be a really good backdrop to the bleeding heart plants and the pincushion plants. And these you have to plant every year. Next we're going to plant Canterbury bells. This will be behind the bleeding heart plants also, but in front of the sunflowers. You also want to think when you're planting your flowers how much they're going to bloom. Is it a spring bloomer, a summer bloomer? That way you have different ones blooming at different times, and some will bloom consistently. Now we're going to plant some cosmos. These will be really fun flowers right in front of those bleeding heart plants and also right behind the pansies. Just adding more whimsical, pretty plants. Hopefully just making a really beautiful flower bed. And the garden takes work, but it's worth it. It really makes your home inviting and a wonderful space. When you come home, you'll feel good walking past your beautiful flower garden. And then in the very back here, kind of in between the different window wells, we're going to plant sweet peas. These grow quite tall. So here it is, just after we planted everything. We'll come back every few weeks and update, so stay tuned for that. Now we're going to move on to the light post. So your yard might not have a light post, but this might be a fun thing to do in another little area where you just have a little small space that you want to brighten up with some flowers. So this is going to take some work getting this grass out. So try to slide underneath, slice off just a couple inches under that. We're using the tape measure to make sure that we make a circle. Now that we have all of the grass cleared, we're going to do the same thing as in the garden. We're going to dig down and really break up the soil, loosen it up. This will be a little bit tougher just because it's had grass in there, so there'll be some extra roots and different things left over from that. So just breaking up the roots and the dirt. smoothing it out. And then here comes the really hard part. We're going to, because we're not going to be planting seeds, but also just to discourage any of that grass from coming back, we're going to put the weed barrier down, the weed fabric. And we're going to try to get this edger in. And I have never worked with this before. This was the hardest part of the whole thing. We're gonna have to get her husband to help us, and we got it in. If you have any suggestions on how to make that easier, please comment. We obviously didn't know what we were doing with that. So for this, we're gonna add in some of the things that are in the other garden and then some of its own things, but it's still going for the whimsical fairy tale type look. So just gonna do some orange pansies, just because the other garden has some orange, but the colors look really pretty together. And then she's gonna do some of the purple pansies here and some snapdragons. And you want to make sure you've spaced out what you're gonna do before you just start planting. So if you have 6 of that plant, space it out before you just start digging. That way you don't get halfway through and realize that you have them too close together and you don't have enough for the whole area. You also, as the plants establish themselves, you want to keep the ground very moist and water a little bit more frequently than you would once the garden is in and is thriving and growing. It takes time for those little seeds to establish their root system. So if you let it dry out, it could kill the plant when a more mature plant could survive just a little bit of time. And then also we thought it would be fun to plant the cosmos right around the base of the light post. Just a little bit of extra height in the middle of this. So check back with us. We'll let you know how to find out how it's going, if it's going to be just a short video here, or if we'll be posting it on Twitter or Instagram. Thanks for watching. Give it a try. See you again soon.